We out here in New York, you feel me? It's brick, you feel me? I only got a jacket on, a blazer, you feel me? Say la vie, good, say la vie, blazer. A$AP Rocky's journey from becoming a music and fashion icon is everything a creative could think of from these very streets in New York. Without further ado, welcome to The Izzy Show. A$AP Rocky was born in Harlem, New York, named after the hip-hop legend Rakim, and raised in a neighborhood that faced socio-economic challenges. At 12, his father went to jail, and at 13, his older brother died by a fatal shooting in Harlem. He experienced the harsh but yet beautiful realities of growing up in this environment.
If anybody say that they haven't come to drugs, they lying. And it's on you. Shit is on me. I did it because that's all I had to do.
From music to fashion, Harlem is filled with culture, brotherhood, and ambitious spirit, deriving from the Harlem Renaissance, which helped jumpstart entrepreneurship and black love and pride in America. A defining aspect of his childhood was his exposure to diverse music genres, including his brother's interest in Texas hip-hop and the eclectic mix of sounds in Harlem. These influences contributed to the distinctive style that would later set him apart in the rap scene. Despite facing difficult circumstances, A$AP Rocky was determined to pursue his passion for music. He honed his skills and immersed himself in the local hip-hop scene, collaborating with fellow creatives in Harlem, eventually joining the A$AP mob.
We always strive and prosper. My shit stands for acronyms symbolizing any purpose.
This group of creators were eager to take over, with A$AP Rocky's mixtape Live Love A$AP being their introduction into the industry. A$AP Rocky's debut mixtape showcased a fusion of Houston chopped and screw music with Harlem street rap. His delivery, characterized by a laid-back flow and distinctive ad-libs, set him apart.
It just came so natural, so that was my style, you know, and I just made my own lane.
And the imagery for this new approach to hip-hop multiplied the hype for this cultural revolution. This mixtape not only introduced his musical talent, but also his keen sense of fashion, blending streetwear with high-end fashion, which eventually became integral to his public persona, embracing brands like Raf Simons, Margiela, and combining high-end fashion with hype-beast brands like Supreme and Bape. The A$AP Collective was the most influential. A$AP Rocky and the A$AP Mob was one of the first to use social media platforms like Tumblr, YouTube, and the mixtape site DatPiff to promote and further emphasize their brand, making them one of the pioneers of today's ethos of marketing and branding. Rocky found himself being one of the leaders of the new era, and this was merely the beginning. Yo, the dynamic of New York is crazy. A 30-minute train ride could take you to the poorest neighborhood in the world to the richest. And this environment birthed some of the most ambitious creators we ever seen. A$AP Rocky's debut mixtape had the music scene on fire, and his sense of style had the fashion industry intrigued. He also played a pivotal part in making Virgil's first fashion project, Pyrex Vision and Ben Trill, popular, as well as V-Lone by his group member A$AP Bari. But with such momentum comes much expectations. Rocky knew his debut album has to be just as or even better than his demo, living up to the always strive and prosper theme. He rose to the occasion with his first lead single, Goldie, displaying a more mature mainstream version of his signature sound, and then following up with an absolute classic, linking up with prominent artists Drake and 2 Chainz and his emerging ally Kendrick Lamar for the song Effin' Problems. This critically acclaimed album not only resonated with his core following, but expanded his audience. This is where his career gets interesting. At the height of his career, his Harlem nature navigated him to a new and refreshing sound. And to not only survive, but to thrive in this environment, you have to constantly evolve. His second album, At Long Last A$AP, had a psychedelic exploration as the leading theme, a departure from traditional hip-hop. This album embraced psychedelic and experimental sounds. Tracks like LSD incorporated dreamy atmospheres, showcasing A$AP Rocky's willingness to explore unconventional territories. The album delved into themes of introspection and loss, revealing a more vulnerable side of A$AP Rocky, while simultaneously taking on modeling and acting roles, similar to one of his predecessors, Tupac. A$AP Rocky's impact was felt through many artistic channels, but his eagerness and boundless creativity pushed him to create one of his best projects to date. A$AP Rocky continued to break genre boundaries with testing.
I've always been experimental with my music, even leading back to like LSD on the last album. With this one, it's more concentrated and calculated. And on top of that, I've discovered sounds I've never heard before.
Showcasing his versatility and refusal to be confined to a single style. Collaborations with artists like Frank Ocean and Skepta demonstrated A$AP Rocky's ability to connect with a diverse range of musicians, further solidifying his influence beyond traditional hip-hop circles. Beyond music, A$AP Rocky's involvement in fashion, with collaborations like his partnership with Dior and his role as cultural icon, contributed to his multi-dimensional artistic identity. This evolution speaks to his ability to adapt, creativity, and enduring impact on both music and pop culture. And we can't forget about him marrying and having 2 kids with Rihanna. A full circle moment from the single Fashion Killer, completing a dream come true. A$AP Rocky is clear proof that if you want to become an icon, all you need is a vision, ambition, and the willingness to evolve at all costs. Long story short, prioritize self-development and you'll be alright. Me and A$AP Rocky come from a city where underserved hoods survive with the get rich or die trying mentality. But the reality is, what we're willing to risk our life and freedom for is basic human rights, like the right to merely exist and create without being on survival mode. Hustling for a check you're probably getting from a hustle you hate, just to live in a neighborhood that gets neglected by everyone, including your neighbors and landlords. With all odds against you, you have to be exceptional with no hiccups, merely due to the lack of development which was intentionally designed. Blacks were freed from American slavery with no resources, without intellectual property stolen, families and house structure broken, and yet we still made progress. Every step we took forward, we were undermined, manipulated, and ultimately set back. And that eventually birthed communities that me and A$AP Rocky had to survive in. But one thing we could all control is our continuous efforts until the playing field is equal on all levels. And with that said, I'll make sure to always strive and prosper.